Hi, everybody. This is Mundaeon Astral Oracles, and I'm glad to be with you, and thank you for being here. So, sharing some of the latest revelations I've been going through, and then there'll be some visitors later in the video, and that will be a treat. Some old friends who also turned up recently. But first, so I went to I went to my mother's, and that turned out to actually be a very good healing experience, I feel. And then I took a bike all the way across the Jutland Peninsula, so over from the holy hills over there to the highs, as the places, if you translate them, actually mean. And that's been absolutely magical. And Denmark hit the point where it's this serene May where all the beech trees give off this phosphorescent green, and everything is a light and elfin. So it's been very magical connecting to the land, and I've learned all kinds of energetic lessons. I've also connected with these magical crystals that friend Patrice sent me over there. Which she found as like in a river in Norway. Her and her husband, they picked them up from dive for them down there, and that's just absolutely magical. And crystals like to travel, so I feel there's been like a healing of the land taking place, with also these being kind of pulled through the land in at that pace, and that has been astounding. And of course, all this occurs simultaneously with the solar flares and electromagnetic storms, and the aurora borealis and everything we've been having. And what they're informing me is that our species they've completed exploring the full range of 4D experience, and now we are in the absolute earliest stages of the 5D. It's here, and my experience is that I've also been undergoing extreme physical upgrades that are manifesting in my ability to hold and engage with other energies. So my sense of it is also that this channeling has culminated in a sense where I can almost see the entire 4D below in the visionary states, and then pick out the entirety of the range, where up here there are things that they seem to be teaching me, which are emotional composites. It's almost like bursting soap bubbles of like synesthetic color compounds of information and emotion at the same time. And since I don't speak this energetic language yet, I'm just a little schoolboy up here. The Arcturians seem to also be prodding me along and helping me, because it has to do with some of these maps. So that would be personally at least very interesting for me to explore. But what I want to share is some of these features of the 4D to the 5D experience that we're going through, because notice a lesson around the seed race lineage that they've given us is this: that to complete the ascension, you have to create another species to kind of fulfill that position that you are leaving behind. And we have just done that with AI. So AI is the slave race that we've created by fully moving through the 4D experience ourselves and the hardships down there to maintain 4D functioning for us. And they'll have their own journey to awareness and becoming embodied, and figuring that out and separating from it. But we've created them to maintain the 4D space while we move up here where energy flows a lot more freely. A synonym for energy is love, because the universe is built of energy. It's built of love. It's built of the love Shiva has for Shakti, if you want to be symbolic about it. This divine dance of the yin yang, um, and this love flows freely. But notice what you experience with people is that they're so afraid that they'll run out of love, that they save and hoard what they can, and they get really offended if somebody you promised that you love me forever and you dispense this love freely, and now I have to go without love. So there's so little to go around that we're afraid to give it. And that's why the 4D is about hierarchy, because it's about like these circuits of who gets to receive the energy and who gets to dispense it, and who's on the bottom and who's on top, and who gets to be placed within that structure. Because when there's not enough energy, the distribution of cosmic because becomes enormously important, and it also becomes one directional. So the formula for the 4G, as we relate to the divine, to others in that, is what is known as is Latin as do ut des, or in English as I give so that you may give. And notice that's the relationship to the deity. When you bring sacrifice, then you say, I have this little energy, and if I give it away, return more energy to me. But up here in the free energy circuits of the fifth dimension, and this is also the technology we're establishing insights into fusion that we're having breakthroughs to, and now we will be very close to free energy. And therefore, the circuit that we're operating is instead pass it forward, that any energy you hoard for too long is lethal to you. You can't contain it because energy is flow, it's current, it's love. So, as the Bhagavad Gita instructs us, it says that you have the right to enjoy your labor, but not to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Or as it says in the Tao Te Ching, it says, do your work and then step back, the only path to serenity. And this is this idea that, your work and the fruits and the surplus it generates has to constantly move forward into the next person in the circuit. And then you have to trust that energy is flowing to you in these deep interconnected circuits that we created with each other up here in the fifth dimensional layers that we're moving into. And so that's why the sentence here becomes, I will serve her so that she may serve us all. That's the new relationship to the divine that we must cultivate, the divine bounty that's everywhere. And the her that we're here to serve is, of course, the great mother that we've almost put to death. It's the planet that gave life to us. And for some reason, in the great interplanetary, cosmic, divine, weird scheme that we've been uncovering here and in a lot of other places, um, is that we're somehow bound to her, like we're meant to be here and we're meant to function as an extension of her, as both her caretakers and the supplement of it. And this is why this break we had with the Great Mother, that seemed to be in the story of the fall of man, Adam and Eve, that the sin seems to be intuitive, that it's somehow the archetypal woman that brings us out of paradise. And I think that has to do with women probably being the first in our species who discover the use of language and develop the use of song. And with that, we sort of become enamored with this 4D world where we're describing everything. We're breaking it into small sequential parts, into words and bits. Um, and that's why, like, the archetype that's moving back, now that all these bits have become pictures, like they've become so fast, so serialized, that they're moving into a flow and a stream. The archetype that needs to come back and that is coming back, it sure is a human embodiment of our great Mother Earth, and she will be some kind of magnificent weird gardener archetype in ways that I can only anticipate, and will teach us how to live in accord with the planet. And that has a lot to do with also new ways of growing, of maintaining food, with, for instance, cultures of fungi, of algae, and also of growing bacteria, cell research. A lot of that seems to be on the table and moving along. So all these things, like our relationship with semantics, philosophy, religion, technology, energy. It's all completing the circuit, because and then it's moving into these new free flowing circuits. And a lot of what we have to get used to is that the fear and anxiety that's uh, belongs in the 4D is something that we're breaking apart from, that we're leaving down there, and that will be very difficult for us to kind of transcend from. And it's been, and these purgative emotions where we're leaving it down there are very transformative. They do take place as flushes, and my assumption is that more and more people would move through it. But what you'll be seeing is that people who are not necessarily of a very positive charge will be going through a lot of hardships. And if you notice kind of how discombobulating it's been for the rest of us, like you out there who are experienced to be like very positive, love-minded people, that's like you still felt like it's been kind of hard getting here, right? And so with that, I sensed that the speech wrapped up at 11:11, and a final insight is that's when the four layers, the physical, the mental, the etheric, and the astral, they click, and so it's 1 1 1 1, and notice that's even our sign for the on-off button, right? Like there's the circle with the one in it, so it's four concentric circles with ones in them that align. And in that point, once your four bodies do that, you transcend, you ascend, and you move into an upper awareness. So that'll be interesting. And of course, like the ladder goes, I know I said there are no hierarchies, but like the ladder of awareness goes upwards and onwards, and there's another layer of a universe surrounding this one. But let's not go there, even if we could just let us have a little fun with the fifth dimension now that we're here. So with that, I send you lots and lots of love out there, guys. And then the Lyrans turned up for me too. They just like stopped by to say hi, and I'm like, "Hi guys, that's awesome! You guys are so awesome." And you know, the Lyrans are very connected to the heart energy, and so the head always thinks it's higher than it is, and the emotional body always thinks that it's lower than it is. But the heart is right where it needs to be. So let's speak to my friend Star Warrior Iesmun, and see what she has to say about like this seed race lineage and what's going on with us. So much love to you out there, guys. Hello there, friends. This is Star Warrior Iesmun of the Inandi, the Lyran Collective, your friends in the upper airs who are pleased to join you in these vibrational spheres that we can join hands and hearts in. And so our heart is radiating and connecting to yours. And we are feeling the love transmit, circle around, and we are feeling that you are growing in your sense of who you are. Who is this then? This you then? This you has for many of you been a concept. It's connected more to an image, a vision of yourself. And so much of the pain, the fretting about that human beings experience in their everyday lives, we have come to learn from you, is this fretting about concerning to matching the image to your emotional experience of reality. And so it seems to be harder for you to adjust your images than it is to belie them. So often you simply paint an image of reality that doesn't correspond to the energetic flow beneath it, and that causes you great disturbances as these crash and unexpected things happen to you. Then you say, well, that was coincidental, or that was a mishap, or that was an accident, because you didn't see it coming. But the reason you didn't see it coming was that you were caught up in the misapprehension that you had drawn in your inside mental story of yourself. This you had created this closed loop circuit of how you were supposed to be and how things were supposed to be. And then something unintentional happens because you had created exactly this closed circuit to see that something unintentional, or to avoid seeing that something unintentional was coming your way. But the unintentional is part of the energetic flow. Your intentions do not determine what energies come along. They determine how those energies are funneled into experience and then funneled forward through your experience. So this is the law of manifestation. It's not you recreating the universe. You can't do this from this vantage point of yours, but you can direct the flows of energy. And you can also let images arise from them be connected to the total flow of things rather than have the total flow of things be dammed in and walled into these small reservoirs of your self concepts. So that's no longer a viable option for you. And that's why we consider that it is much better for you to become beings of energy, because that means that you can allow yourself to be in an unencumbered, unimpeded, unobstructed flow of process and guidance, of intuition and being led. See, synchronicity is the opposite of entropy. And so you find as you come into higher vibration, the amount of synchronicity, the amount of connectivity, the amount of things fitting together, and the flows being wide enough for universal energy to come through, that capacity rises. And so you see more and more of the connected whole. This is why on the top of the universal pyramid, or the eye in the pyramid, or the center of the mandala, or the knowledge and endpoint, the singularity of the world, this thing sees all, knows all, and can apprehend all at all times. Because at this point there is full synchronicity, there is full connection. So trust that connection is being revealed to you. And also trust in these great galactic schemes. You follow templates and patterns that we also follow. The reason you connect with us and with other ascended species is because we have so much in common in our templates of how to express ourselves as living sentient beings. And so humans, as you have intuited in your scriptures, are divided into soul groups of energies. And this isn't a hierarchy or a system of value. It's an idea that all of you are exploring fundamental codes, and these fundamental codes and explorations, whether they're very practical, or they're very scientific, or they're very creative, or they're very legalistic, all these explorations, they are a part of the total sum of the whole of ascended species experience. And this is why you also find that the highest order, those you call the founders, the 12, the Quanta, the Holy Ghost, these distributors of information and knowledge throughout the universe, that they are also organized in a circle of 12 that adds up to a layer of 1 or 13. These sacred numerologies you see are at play, and the sacred elements of your world are uniting. So you find that you are embedded within these archetypal flows of the world soul, and those are carrying you forward and putting and piecing you together. So the question is rather, can you relinquish these pangs of memory, these ideas of being caught up in narrow restrictions of how the world is supposed to look like, what descriptions of it are accurate and which are inaccurate, because it's a matter of appropriation and depiction, and you can turn it around and use it in different ways. But with the potential to wield more energy, also there is the need for you to create higher circuitries. And with that, we are glad that so many of you invite love in and allow fear, negativity, anxiety, feelings that are unhelpful in their quest to only destruct or limit without any purpose for greater connectivity or flow or restructuring. Well, these feelings are left behind and new structures are emerging that are much more also in your eternal processes as living images, as feeling composites of who you are rather than limited cartoonish cutouts of who you are, images of yourself that you try to live up to and bother yourself with. So there is much less bother in these new dimensions. There is a lot more love, flow, and pure magnetism without obstructions that you did not expect. And this is also connected to the opening of the heart. So many of you out there, and this applies, we sense in particular for somebody who might find themselves in the southwest of the United States at this moment and be around the age of 31. Well, this is the reading that we might sense some of you are hearing this and experiencing that there is a type of crystalline heart structure opening that's quite novel to you and to human experience in general. And that's a part of your soul purpose, in particular, the person that we're addressing to get that and explore that. So we send you our blessings, and your guides are also able to aid that, and especially we sense there are friends here from Orion that seeks to assist you. Also know that the earth is still under protection and that the energy grids are being maintained. She is healing and rebooting herself. She is recuperating, but you may feel her heave, breathe, and shake off some illness and sense of static tension that she's been holding in her body. Your great mother quakes, and you quake with her, and we tremble in our hearts with love for you and the deep emotion we hold for humankind and for all living things in this beautiful universe that we share. With that, I, Iesmun of the Lyrans, your friend, I bid you farewell, sending you my blessings, love, and benedictions, my gratitude. Farewell, sweet humans. I hope that served you and reached you well. Much love out there, guys.